Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and they talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on, and welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, baby. That's the home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
That's Key.
And we are back for another good time. Another good time.
It's funny you say back, man. I don't want to move too much because I don't know what I did, but I was drying off after the shower. Man, 40 is a beast.
That 40 is 40?
40 is a beast, man. It was 40 in for me.
Ooh,
yeah.
Man.
That's why I'm sitting like this, right? You ain't going to see me do too much. I don't think. I was like,
ain't no more of these.
No, it's just going to be just one side.
Be a lot of stiff movement, guys. And listen when I say.
I was like, oh, not today.
Oh,
not
man.
today.
That's
twinge.
That's a rough patch, man. That's
all
a rough
right.
patch.
The under the shoulder blade action. That's
you know what it is for me is the knee I don't use to drive. So now when I'm going up the steps, so I got one knee that feels strong and another one that feels like it ain't being used in forever.
Yeah, that's how the ages do things, man.
Right. But enough millennial talk. We are we are here to present you with what I think is a pretty interesting concept or a thought that I had. But before we get to that, we're going to start off the show like we always do. We're going to get the stuff we heard, and then we'll talk about the topic of today's main discussion, which is, should Josh Allen take most of the blame for the deficiencies of the offense over the last 6 years? Right? And I'll explain that. There's a poll in the chat. If you want to get your opinion in, go ahead and click yes or no, whichever one suits you better.
It's anonymous. We won't tell anybody.
Right. Really quick, before we get to stuff we heard, I had a weird random thought.
What you got?
So I'm sensing this might become a thing where I just have these weird random thoughts.
I have them all the time. You just turned 40, so you're good.
Okay, yeah. So I might be able to start getting wilder and wilder as I get older, because when you get old, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, perfect. Love it. So I watched this movie today, and I had seen it before. You ever seen 8mm?
No.
Nicolas Cage?
No.
Okay. So the premise of the show is this private investigator gets hired by this really insanely rich woman and her lawyer to investigate this video that was in this vault that he had locked away. And the wife watched it, and it was a snuff video of this guy in a mask raping and killing this young girl, right? So the rich woman wants to know, is the video real, and like get to the bottom of it. Like, where did this come from? Who made, all that stuff. So Nicolas Cage, private investigator, ends up getting to the bottom of it. Turns out the rich woman's husband paid a guy who is in this, underground pornography world that does this kind of stuff for a living. Like, he makes these videos. Paid him to make this video just because he was bored, just because he could, because he was rich enough to afford to be able to do this and sit in the room and watch this stuff happen, right? And it's actually a pretty good story, you know what I mean? Like, they made it from a book, but
right.
I imagine the book is probably a lot better than what the movie ended up being. But the moral of the story I took from this was, actually, I should say first. When Nicolas Cage came to the woman's house so that they can go to the cops, the woman's butler informed Nicolas Cage that she had committed suicide, and she left instructions for him to give some money to the girl's mom, who was still alive, and she left payment for him as well for everything that he'd done. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, man, so if I die, my wife is going to kill herself to come and tell me how wrong I was for doing what I did. She couldn't just wait until natural causes got her. Like she had to nip it in the bud right there.
Waiting for you.
She had to come see me in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm. Sit on the right-hand side of you for the rest of eternity.
To let me know how badly I messed up.
Yep.
Like, that's how far women will go.
That's just how far they'll go. And further.
The moral of the story is, don't do wrong, fellas. Because she will find you wherever you go.
Yeah.
And she will let you know.
Yeah, fellas, females, identifying as men, identifying as women. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Whoa! When did this show turn into that? You're trying to get us canceled?
No,
already.
you said fellas. Now I'm just saying morally, everybody, everybody, don't do it.
All right. Yeah, never mind. Let's move right along. Let's get out of that conversation as fast as possible. Keyshawn just completely took us sideways.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Bobby Bonilla Day?
Yes.
He got paid again?
Oh, he got 11 more easy installments of $1.19 million. Mel,
love it.
Mel, are you listening? Because this is how you want us to do the salary cap. Oh God, yeah. So he's actually been paid $16 million by the Mets since 2000 not to play, and he only has 11 more years to go. He's 62 years old, I believe, right now.
Isn't life grand? Isn't it grand?
I would admit, what kind of severance package is that? Because I want that.
The land of people getting paid to not do a job is just amazing.
I would love to have this. It's automated.
Like, seriously, this is a non-political thought. It's more of a philosophical thought, but it is what it is at this point. I'll just say it. Mm-hmm. The amount of money that Americans spend on entertainment when it's available free here every Monday and Thursday, or Monday and Wednesday, Monday and Friday. And
every 2 days of the week, whatever they happen to fall on. Whatever those 2 days are, we be here. Right. We try to let y'all know ahead of time.
So it's amazing. It's amazing how much money each of these leagues makes, and how much money that they can just throw away to a player for 30 some odd years to not play a sport ever again. It's incredible. When
you're talking about restructuring a contract, though, pushing it down the line, push it down 35 years, you all say. That is a mean restructure.
Oh, Laura was about to get at me. Laura said, don't try and change the subject now, just when I was sharpening my knives. Right.
She's like, oh, we talking about football.
How it works. Don't be exposing us.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Mm-mm.
All right. What do we got for stuff we heard, man? It's been a wild week.
Dawson Knox put a ring on it. He got married, I guess, this weekend I just saw.
Okay.
So it seems like every time something happens in his life, he steps it up. So I'm looking for a big season from him. Wow. He's ready. He's ready. Let's see.
Really rooting for that dude, man.
I am, huh?
Jordan Love?
Yeah, he got engaged. Yeah, he got engaged.
Listen, with a last name like Love,
you got to have it in your life.
Right.
You got to have it.
You can't not be married. Like, can you imagine being a player with your last name Love?
There's no love here.
Right. Nobody would believe you anymore.
That would be my hashtag. No love here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lindsay. Lindsay said, whoa, clicked on the show and talking about rape and murder, but then you said Nicolas Cage in 8mm. Disturbing but good movie, yeah.
Oh, so she knows.
Yeah. Sorry about that for everybody that tuned in right at that point. That had to be really weird. Sorry. It was just a random thought I had. But anyway.
So, the U.S. under-20 football team played again.
They
played again.
And they got spanked again.
No, they didn't get spanked.
Okay.
They actually came in closer. They lost to Austria this time, 32-21.
So they got kicked in the face, but it wasn't as hard.
Wasn't as bad by Austria this time.
Gotcha.
So you mean to tell me you couldn't go down to Texas and find 46 anybody's in Texas and send them off to play in this thing and do a better job?
You know how many this is bad. You know how many dudes are on YouTube and Instagram and all that, doing all these drills and all that kind of stuff, and going to, like, you seen the destroying videos, right?
Yep.
Just go to wherever he is and recruit half of those dudes, and you will be able to win. Seriously. As many routes as we see getting run and people's ankles getting broken and one-handed catches and all that kind of stuff, you couldn't put them on the football team?
You're not lying. Yeah, was it Ross 500, Destroying? Yeah, all those guys.
Right.
Weird enough, Destroying is a kicker, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
I know. And he broke his neck on. I think he did break his neck. But
wow.
Trying to make a tackle. Well, he made a tackle, but yeah.
So that's why he's not in the league?
And what was he in, XFL?
He was XFL, but
Yeah.
he didn't try to attack it. He tried to hit somebody.
Yeah, he made the hit.
But it cost him.
It cost him. Yeah. Because it was one of those deals where he wasn't paralyzed or anything like that, but, he had this chronic pain. He's like, and he's like, you got to get that looked at because it's not getting better. So I don't know if he's going to play again or what, but speaking of your random thoughts, I have a kid say the darndest things moment.
Ooh, okay.
So little Kenny,
oh boy,
my darling son,
this should be good.
He walks up to me and says, "So Dad, how come you don't never straighten your arm out?" I'm like, family, you just noticing this? I shattered my arm, dude. This is it. He's like, so that's why you walk like that. Oh. So that's what happened. So you walk like, okay. Because T said she even noticed that he actually started to look like he was walking like me with his arm bent.
Yeah.
I guess he was imitating me, but he didn't know it. So like before you know it, he don't lose all mobility in his arm. So that's why it's like that. Then today he asked me some kind of quantum physics type question that I have no answer. He's like, yo, you need to go back to school, Dad, because I don't know why you don't know that. He asked me something about like the gravity of the Earth and moon of why we can't live. I'm like, what? He's like, why don't you know this, Dad? You got to go back to school.
And you ain't kick him in his chest yet?
I was driving to Starbucks, so I had no choice.
So when we get home, you get kicked in your chest, just so you know.
Speaking of Ken, I will say, he did impress me yesterday. We had Millie Mack's wife's half birthday. I guess that's what we do when we get old. We have quarter, half, three-quarter birthday, whatever. It was a decent celebration and skating party. Mm-hmm. And last time we took Ken skating at the Rainbow Skating Rink, as soon as he put his skates on, he fell and busted screechy. He busted. I mean, he hit his head on the bench and everything. He was like, so. This time I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk him around.
It's the sound effects for him.
He busted screechy. Yeah, that's what he did. But so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give him a little thing, and I'm gonna walk with him.
Okay.
This man was out there. He was out there doing his thing. This man. Now, sidebar. I can't dance. Anybody out there that knows I can't and I don't. So don't ask me to do it. But man, when I tell you the wobble came on. And I was like, T was like, don't do it. Don't you even.
You can't resist the wobble?
I can't resist the wobble, man.
I run from the wobble.
When I hear the beat, oh. Mm-mm. Oh, and you know what? At a Mel and Christina party, you're always going to get a wobble, huh? I can only wobble to one side, though, because my knee is bad. So when I try to wobble to the left side, it crunches. It's not good.
We at 306.
Yeah, we got 300.
Okay. 4 when we hit 4. 330?
Why is it 24 more subscribers? I got to do the wobble. I got to get my knee brace out. Yeah. You gonna wobble with me then? I'll do it with you. Wow, this is stiff competition. Fine.
He likes laughing at people.
I will be that one you can laugh at then.
Yeah.
Because when I hear that thing drop, I'm like, yo. T looked at me. She looked me dead in my eyes. She was like,
"Yo, Rich said wobble to the left side so it goes viral."
If I wobble to the left, I ain't gonna be able to get back up.
Right. Just keep it to the one side.
Right. I know my limits. I wobble sitting down. But yeah, so Kim was out there. They had and he's got his thing. And he's like jumping up and down on the scale. Oh, he doing tricks. I'm like, what's good with this little boy, y'all?
Yeah.
No joke, he's impressive. That's my little guy. So if you're watching, which I know you're not because you're probably playing Grand Theft Auto or something, you'll see this later in life.
You know what? I am very, very appreciative. My baby boy, my youngest, he tells me every day when I get home, I was a viewer, Dad. I was watching.
Does he really?
It is the most precious. He's 7. You know what I mean? So like everything he does now is like super precious. But it's something about the excitement that he has. Like, Dad, how many viewers did you have today? Oh, let me check. So far we got, I don't know, whatever, 34, right? He goes, guess who was one of them? You know what I mean? Like, it's like the coolest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. I love it. But, yeah.
No, that is true. I mean, Kennedy, what was it? I think T sent me this video earlier where it was this grown man acting like a kid, and like the second thing he said was, "Dad, Mr. Beast has more subscribers than you." That is so Ken. That is so Ken. Ken would say that to me. He says it to hurt, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying. I'm just a father. I'm just a dad.
You know how long Mr. Beast has been on YouTube?
He's got Beast bars and all this stuff.
Right.
We just got Bill shirts that we bought from where we bought them from.
The man been on YouTube since computers had backs to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no flat screens like it is now.
Right, like, yo, just give up. We're failures because we don't have Mr. Beast numbers.
Yo, you ever seen that dude like when he first started?
No.
It's bad.
Is it?
Oh,
I gotta
he
take a
talks
look.
about it all the time. Like, cause I watch a lot of his stuff on how he grew his channel and like his formula and all that. And he talks about all the time like how bad his initial stuff was.
Really?
And I went back and watched it. It's like cringe bad.
Dude, people sub to everything. Like the thing about it is they'll sub to, but they never watch it again. And so I like our set because we don't have a lot of subs, but the people that sub, we have, it almost matches the views almost every time. So I'm good with that.
It works out.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't want to have 13,000 subs and
only
17 views.
right. That's a problem.
Like courtesy sub.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna gloss over that one because you had something. I saw an article earlier that said the Bills should be worried about losing Tylen Grable.
They should be worried about
him being poached if they don't keep him on the 53.
How old is he?
He's a 6th round draft pick this year, so he's 23 maybe.
I would kind of be worried about that because if I put it like this, one of the things I was thinking about the difference between the Bills and the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Over the 6-year span of what brought me to this topic of thought today, that we're going to get into. But the biggest difference in the Chiefs' offense and the Bills' offense has been the performance of the offensive line. Mm-hmm. If you look at the way that their offensive line can run block, and even the way that it was designed when Mahomes first started. Because it wasn't what it is now, where it's pretty dominant run wise. They can run the ball pretty much anytime they want. It doesn't mean they have great running backs that can capitalize on it. Right. But for what they're who's their running back now?
Who's at the Chiefs?
Yeah,
Pacheco.
Yeah, for what Pacheco is doing with that offensive line, it's more offensive line than Pacheco.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've looked at the numbers and the rankings and all that kind of stuff, and I've heard other people say this too. But I was watching a show earlier today that kind of pointed out, Josh's offensive line is pretty good, but a lot of times it's Josh bailing himself out of sacks and refusing to go down or shoving guys off of him and making plays and stuff like that. So all of that oftentimes makes the offensive line look better. Mm-hmm. And what I think doesn't get taken into context when it comes to the offensive line performance is how well they do in the run game. Because you had some numbers earlier in the season that talked about Cook's numbers from when he gets the ball to when he's making contact with the defender.
Right.
And I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but they were significantly lower than what Pacheco had, right? Mm-hmm. So I say all that to say, I can see a future, I can see a future where Tylen Grable gets picked up by another team and turns into a Chris Jones. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is probably the biggest difference between the Chiefs' defensive line and the Bills' defensive line. Is you've got an absolute stud disruptor that can line up anywhere on the defensive line and destroy a team's game plan. You know what I'm saying? So Do I think Tylen Grable has the potential to do something like that? Yes, based on his size, based on his potential. I think he could end up being someone who's disruptive. He may not be Chris Jones. That's like, the absolute ceiling for him. But even if he becomes Ed Oliver at his size, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, Grable.
Yeah.
Grable, he's an offensive lineman, offensive tackle.
No, I get it. But,
Okay,
but I'm saying somebody else might be smart enough to put him on the defensive line.
Oh,
where
got
he
you.
belongs.
You
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I know it's probably seen.
I was like, wait a minute. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Dirty Jersey is like, isn't Grable an O lineman? We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Did we talk about it on show or off air?
We talked about it. Well, if you're thinking, are you thinking about Clayton, the guy from London?
Oh, that is who I'm thinking.
Yeah. Grable's the guy from University of Central Florida.
You know what? I just went. I went into this whole dissertation.
Okay.
You just sitting there.
You
all
said
patient,
you
letting
said
me
it,
go
and then
through all
when
this.
you defensive line, I'm like, wait. No, Clayton.
No.
Clayton. No, I agree with you.
I'm not. No,
I agree.
don't
No,
agree with
Clayton,
me
I
now.
agree
I'm
with
not
you.
letting
But
you
we're
off
talking
the
about
hook for
Grable.
that. You just watched me for the last 70
No,
seconds.
you went left later.
Yeah, huh?
You had it, then you went left.
How?
Because you were talking about the versatility, the size, which
I've
he
been
has.
talking about a defensive lineman the whole entire time.
Can you let me get you, man? Let me get you.
I'm not gonna let you cover me now.
I was like, but no,
Right? Of course.
no, with Clayton. Absolutely, Clayton. But see, the thing about Clayton is safe. He's safe regardless because he's that international guy. So he's the 91st guy on the roster. You don't have to worry about him. Okay. But Grable's the tackle out of Central Florida. He's a project. He was a quarterback in high school, tight end in college, and then played tackle in college as well. I think he played left tackle mostly. He said he's looking forward to learning from Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins. For me, I'm like, okay. So you want to learn from Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins, but you should be trying to learn from Aaron Cromer because that's the guy that's going to teach you what you need to get to stay on this team.
Yeah.
Plus Spencer Brown is just coming to his own as we speak. So I don't know what you can impart from him, but maybe what to expect the speed of the game. But outside of that, I don't really know what he's going to get. He was a practice squad player when they drafted him, a project. I just don't understand why we're putting so much thought. Not you, but why we're putting so much thought into losing Grable because we lost Tenuta last year, we lost Alec Anderson before, we lost all these guys. So it's like, okay, one monkey don't stop no show. We'll figure this out and we'll replace him. Whereas we can with Clayton even. Yeah. Which I'm even more interested in because the fact that he's a raw ball of clay and we have him for a year without any threat of anybody poaching him from us. So I saw the article. I'm like, why are we worried about that? And, whatever. If he stays, he stays. If he doesn't, good riddance.
Right.
I also saw something about Matt Milano. This was last week.
Okay.
Somebody had a quotable. Matt Milano has been a fixture for the Buffalo Bills defense for the better part of the last 7 years, but the franchise could be ready to cut the cord with the linebackers early as this offseason. What are your thoughts? I think he would have to be hurt again. And let me look at his. I got to look at his
unpopular opinion. You ready?
I know where this is going in.
If he gets hurt this season,
oh yeah,
you can't do it.
No,
you can't do it. And there's probably an over 50% chance that he does get hurt. He's not only a year older, but he's coming off of an injury from last year. So usually when that happens and you come right back in and you get significant playing time like he would demand at his talent and skill level, the body has to compensate. It's not all the way back. I'm sorry. For the type of injury he had where he broke something.
He broke his tibial plateau.
Right. So there's compensation happening all over the place for that. We can get Thigh Doctor in here to talk about that at some point in time.
I'm not doing a thigh dance for it, though, and I'm not sending a thigh pick either, so don't ask.
But yeah, I think what we've seen as far as the pattern with Milano is at some point around weeks 5 or 6, there's something small and something nagging.
Right.
And it isn't even rare anymore. I think he's been in the league, 5 years?
No. He was 2017. He was the first year.
Oh yeah, so 6 years. He's been in the league. This is year 7 for him. He's going into right.
Yep.
So four of the last 6 years, he's had pretty big injuries. Right. That's a majority of his career so far.
Yep.
So while it is an unpopular opinion, if I'm trying to look at this objectively and say, is he worth whatever the market is going to demand for his position and his production to this point? I don't know if I can have 100% confidence in giving him that money, knowing I'm going to get the best ROI on that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
So,
no, I agree. I mean, Milano would
dang,
be
I
a
just
sizable.
said it again. Mama told me I said, you know what I'm saying?
That's
too much.
one. That's
Yeah,
one. It's
okay.
okay.
All right, that's
it's
the
okay,
last time
right,
I'm
Mom?
saying it. Yeah.
Good. But no, after this year, he's still on the hook for potential out after 2026 season with $11 million cap hit, $17 million after next year, and $29 million. Whoa, $29 million this year. So yeah, that's his dead cap. If they keep him past 25, you're looking at 17-2 against the cap. And Milano, for what I have, he's only played 16 games two times in his career, which would be 2021 and 2017, his rookie year. Obviously, when he's on the field, he's an excellent player.
Oh yeah.
So it's not that. I think being 30 years old, coming up on a sizable cap hit, that would be something that they have to think about, especially with a tibial plateau injury, because that's weight bearing. And I mean, thigh doctor can come out here and tell me I'm wrong, but the prognosis isn't great for keeping that right in that position because there's a lot of stress on the knee.
Laura says, I will cry tears if Milano has a substantial injury again this year. I'm scared even talking about it.
Me too. Bubble wrap him. Bubble wrap him. I mean, for what we do on defense, him and Taron Johnson are pretty much the two players that we have to have out there. With the linebacker, Terrell Bernard's he's coming into his own, but so far so good for Milano, and Taron Johnson is definitely, the nickel. The reason why they can't get out of nickel is because of Taron Johnson. I know you want to go back to a 4-3, but the Bills have put too much money in Taron Johnson. I guess you could move him back to safety if you wanted or whatever at certain times, but I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of the back six. So,
well, that's another interesting contract situation too, because he's nearing the end of his 3-year deal too, right? I think he's got
Taron Johnson. He actually got
year.
extended.
Last year?
I'm about to pull it up right now.
Okay. Dirty Jersey says it'll turn into another Trey White if injured for the season again. Yeah. I think that's where it's headed.
Yeah, Taron Johnson, his contract is up 2027.
Okay. So he'll be what, 30, 31?
31 at the end of the conclusion of his contract. He's actually he's got a void year, his year 32 season.
He's got a potential out too after
2026, and his is actually doable because it's 4.3 mil. So that is something that you could look at.
Let's see. Okay. So Andrew Knight says Milano missed 5 games before this year. Are you saying he only missed 5 games his entire career before this year, or last year he only missed 5 games?
Last year he played. Last year he played in 5 games before he got hurt. He missed 1 game. 22. That was still 16 games, right? Or was it 17?
Say it again.
Year 22. That was 16 games, right? Or was it 17?
It was 17.
17. So he missed 2 games in 22. He played all games in 21 because I believe that was the last. Was 16.
Yep.
Played 10 in 2020. He played 15 in 2019, 13 in 2018, and he played all games in 2017.
Okay. So the good news, I'll cheer you guys up a little bit, Laura. The good news is losing Milano now would probably be the best time to do it. And here's what I mean. So if you look at the guys that they have, technically that third string position for the veterans, you got Nicholas Morrow, who is he's more of a middle linebacker, but he could play strong side.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got Deion Jones, right? So you've got 2 guys who are pretty darn good coverage guys, right? And also, both of those guys, I would say Deion Jones is probably a little bit better at shooting gaps, so to speak, because when Atlanta's defense was pretty good and he was playing next to Aluakun in Atlanta, that's what they did. They whenever they just shot gaps on a regular basis.
I mean, super fast.
Right,
I
exactly.
mean, I think Morrow is better against the run.
Yeah, Morrow's definitely better against the run. So all I'm trying to say by that is you have those guys in the locker room teaching and training up guys like
Fascio.
Yeah, Ulafaccio and Williams. You know what I'm saying? I think with the experience that Williams got last year and even in the playoffs, I think he would be in a really good position to come in this year if needed and surprise people. Right. Milano plays the weak side, so I think if there was ever a time, this is probably the best year. You've got one guy specifically in Williams who has experience in the system and has veterans in the locker room that can teach him on a day-to-day basis, and then you've got Ulafaccio coming in who is probably, I would say he's a little ahead of where Dorian Williams was last year.
And he's in the blue cheese, so we're good there. And he's in the blue cheese.
Right.
Ray Davis, not so much. So
Yeah.
Rico, y'all like Ray Davis. Nah, he can't be here till he enjoys the blue cheese. He opened that thing up. He said,
"Listen, if nobody puts any of that on their chicken wings,
I don't
it's
even do it.
still good.
"Yo, you ain't lying about
Still
that."
good.
Speaking of which, I went to Fat Bob's Pizza or Fat Man's Pizza.
Fat Man's Pizza.
Yeah.
Is this another place you put me on?
Well, I
I
mean,
just went back to BBQ Chicken the other day.
did you?
On Saturday. I can't help it now, man. Listen,
Yes.
that
Yes.
rice bowl they got,
Yes.
and I tried the secret sauce. The
Yeah.
secret sauce wings.
Yeah.
Man, listen,
Yes.
Junie, am I lying? Am I lying? The wings that you had on Saturday? Yo, he came. He showed me the whole bucket. He was like, "Dad, every
need
time
more.
we go, I need." Yeah, he was like, "I need these every time, Dad."
Yo,
Yeah.
King said that too.
Yeah.
My mom too. Oh man.
You lighten up the fork house with that thing, man.
I'm telling you guys, go to BBQ Chicken and let them know you heard about them on Post Podium Podcast because they won't give you anything special, but just
Not
know.
yet, anyway.
just letting you know you will not be disappointed. But
Right.
I know Fat Man's Pizza. We had the pizza and it was like it was all right. It was okay. But I saw, me being fat and greedy. I saw on Facebook with the box they opened it up, and I said, "Man, I got to try those." So I went. They almost as good as John's to me. And John's before BBQ Chicken was my favorite wing spot. But no, Fat Man's right down the street from me. It was hitting. Or they say it was bussing, as they say these days.
Oh no.
Bussing.
Dirty Jersey says, "Don't forget about Spectre."
You know what, Jersey? I don't want to, but I have to. Because every time he gets a shot, he gets hurt. Spectre wouldn't, and AO tell you, Spectre was my guy forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I wanted Balin Spectre. I wanted Spectre. I wanted Spectre over Terrell Bernard. This is before we saw, what Terrell Bernard was capable of. But I wanted Spectre, and he kept getting hurt. Now, he's a good player. He's a good run stuffer. He's a good special teams player. I think he'll make the team. But I just don't know why he keeps getting hurt in opportune times.
Man. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what we're saying, Dirty Jersey. He says Balin Spectre has played well when called upon, just super injured.
All the time. And it's like, 54. Nope, he's down. Okay, never mind.
But you know what that comes from too, though, is usually when you're playing at a weight that your body is not built to handle. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's what is he? 6'2" and
230, 235, something like that.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of tough because at 230, like you really can't go too much lower than that.
Right.
I think Taron Johnson is playing at what, 222? Something like that.
Bernard?
I'm sorry, Terrell Bernard.
Yeah, he's like they want to say he's like 230, but okay. 225 maybe.
No.
they're being very, very generous, but no, maybe 225.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Laura said, by the way, I came down for Juneteenth. We did go to Brick House. Was so good. I do want to try Bratz Hill too, though.
Yes.
For fancy B dinner or something.
Mm-hmm. You got to. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Listen, I'm this big for a reason. I know where all the good food is.
Man.
All right, that was all you get for the X-rated part of our show. Terrell Bernard is listed at
6'1", 224.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
maybe Spectre needs to go down to that.
I don't know. In college I think he played it. He was about 230 in college. And it worked, but
it's not working for him now.
Yeah,
I
don't know what it is, but he needs to do something because he has talent. He has a talent for it, and he was a late round draft pick that could work out and definitely be a cost control guy. Speaking of cost control, let's flip over to basketball. What's all this money being tossed around?
What? Did
you see that Jason Tatum just signed a 5-year, $313 million contract?
Oh yeah.
And Joe Marino was up in arms because Isaiah Hartenstein, who was a afterthought for the Knicks, who signed with Oklahoma City, makes $4 million more than Myles Garrett a season. I'm like,
wait, who?
Isaiah Hartenstein, exactly. He played for the Knicks. 7-footer, averaged 6 points and 5 rebounds last year. He signed a 3-year, $87 million? 3-year, $87 million. And Joe Marino's like, he makes more than Myles Garrett. I'm like, well, he plays 3 times as many games, but that's what they're paying him these days. And of course, your guys, end of an era. Sorry to hear it. Klay Thompson, Dallas Mavericks, 3 years, $50 million.
I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to at some point.
He wasn't the same player after the 2 knee injuries in a row, and you could see it. And the coach didn't trust him to do what he was best at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the thing, he shunned my Nuggets, which is fine, but we're doing Billsy stuff right now, which is really pissing me off. Really pissing me off. We traded up for a guy in the draft, and we re-signed DeAndre Jordan to a 1-year contract for $3.8 million. This dude ain't played last year, but maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 games out of 82. He just on the sideline being a cheerleader. I could do that.
Did you forget we're on a Bills podcast?
I did. But no, the reason why I bring it up.
You said it was the Billsiest thing ever. I'm like,
because they're doing 1-year contracts now.
Huh?
They're doing 1-year contracts. DeAndre Jordan, 1 year, $3.8 million.
Really?
Reggie Jackson, yeah, they signed him to a 1-year deal. Then they sent him off somewhere.
Interesting.
So all these 1-year deals. Sabres, same thing. They got $31 million in cap space, and signing all these guys I've never heard of to 1-year deals. Stamkos is out there who we had no shot at because like the Bills back in the day. Nobody wants to come to Buffalo. So, that kind of piqued my interest with this show, especially with the free agency talk. And I think it goes into what you're saying about the show topic, which I don't know if you saw the article leading into your topic about Josh Allen. Who was it? Let me. I just want to give him credit because I want the flame to happen. I want the flamage to happen if it's going to happen. It's not me. I didn't say it. This is TWSN. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know who that is. But this will be Josh Allen's last season on the Buffalo Bills by Mark Konechny, USA Today Sports.
Where does he live?
He lives somewhere. He's on USA Today Sports.
He lives somewhere.
This guy says that Josh Allen has peaked in Buffalo. He says the Bills should do Josh Allen solid and send him somewhere where he can win.
Oh, we should do him a favor.
Do him a favor. Now, this is my thing. Now, this might get don't take your subscriber hood from Aaron's, but take it from me if you have to. I don't care about Josh Allen winning a championship outside of Buffalo. I want him to win it here.
Right.
Because this is not Kyle Poso, which I'm still mad that he went to Florida and won the chip. He ain't do nothing in Buffalo. So you send him off to a championship team as a solid so he can get a taste. No.
Is this some sort of curse or like is this something in our water where like we can't be great here, but the second we go somewhere else, we're amazing? Should I just move to Wisconsin somewhere so I can be great?
Whoa.
Like, can you imagine? I
was just asking T how I get out of this rat racing. Wisconsin might be the move. So yeah, they're talking about. I mean, he's got a 64-34 record with the Bills, but they're talking about how he has to put the team on his back, which that's not on him. That's on the people that built the team around him. They go over his dual threat capabilities. They go over how he fights. They go over all these different aspects of not putting, that was right here, They said the 2024 season will be extremely telling us how talented Allen really is, which I said I do agree with that. Not because I agree with that.
Okay.
But that's where it stops because it goes on to say while he hasn't had the best receiving group, he has still had Stephon Diggs. Now Diggs is not there, and Allen is going to have to uplift the group that consists of Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and Curtis Samuel. Scrubs! All scrubs, evidently, huh? Just terrible players because Keon Coleman, he's a first-year draft pick. Khalil Shakir, he showed me something last year, a lot of something last year. And Curtis Samuel, I don't know a lot about, but, you were high on him, and a lot of people were talking highly of Curtis Samuel. Man, Josh is done. He's cooked, man. There's nobody around him.
Yo, Laura, you are absolutely right. Yo, she said if Diggs wins a ring now, I'm fighting.
Not me.
I'm flipping death.
Ain't gonna be me.
No, I'm tight. Because, I didn't want to get rid of him. So if he goes off and wins, the same way Okposo, if that happens, never mind any Super Bowl winning.
Mm-hmm.
If he's in the Super Bowl, if I have to watch the Super Bowl and see my ex-receiver on that team making plays and having a chance to win it all,
Yeah.
I'm done.
He would have the MVS touchdown in order to win the Super Bowl, and we would just we'd gouge our eyes out. I really would. And this is
it's gonna be the purge in my neighborhood.
It'll be the purge. Yeah.
I'll
probably purge myself.
It's gonna be another one of those things Dirty Jersey doesn't want to see.
Doesn't
want to
unsee. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So the solution for this article was the Bills should consider trading him. There will be many teams interested in Josh Allen. Really? You don't say. Shall we go on? Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, Tennessee Titans, Las Vegas Raiders, New York Giants, New Orleans Saints. Why don't we just say the whole freaking NFL?
You know what? Let's just give Marissa Myers a hand right now. Let's give her a hand. Give her a hand.
Because
she did exactly
great.
what she was supposed to do as a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
She got us to click on the link and read this trash.
Yes.
It was absolute foolishness.
It was foolishness. And she went on to name the teams that he could get traded to. Whoa. These teams must have 3 first-round draft picks or something that I don't know about.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, that was
Jacob says tell Allen to stop throwing interceptions.
I would love to, but I want him to throw 2 touchdowns of those interceptions. 3 touchdowns and interceptions.
So you're okay with 10 2-touchdown 2 interception games?
Yeah, if he gives me a 5-bagger a couple of times, he goes off going absolutely ballistic.
For
honestly,
5-0?
Yeah. I mean, realistically for me, Josh Allen 3-1 touchdown. That's where I want him to be. So if you're talking about 45 touchdowns, I can take 45 passing touchdowns. I don't want to hear no more about 15 running touchdowns. 45 passing touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Who's going to say no to that? I wouldn't.
Junie, can you change adjust the focus on Keyshawn's camera? He's a little out of focus there.
I'm blurry.
Yeah, it's just slightly blurry.
I usually don't focus though. It's hard, man.
So Dirty Jersey says, yeah, we all got trolled like a 14-year-old girl on Twitter. She got me good. Yeah, I think so too. Lindsay says Pagula will fire McDermott and Bean before he lets Josh Allen walk out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So it's hard for me to respond to this until it's hard for me to respond to this without getting into the topic. So what do you say we just get right into, because we can finish stuff after. Yeah. I don't think it's going to take that long, but
it might. You never know.
No, I don't think this topic is going to take that long. So I think what it really comes down to for me is what Marissa Myers is talking about is it's something that maybe a team like the Giants or the Jets might do, where they've realized that the coaching staff is at the end of its rope. They're not getting through to the players, and they just get rid of the whole team and try to just rebuild again because they're trying to put butts in the seats, right? If this was any city outside of Buffalo or maybe Green Bay, I do think this is something that would be considered because in those cities, it's easier to attract talent. It's easier to get guys who want to come to your city and work on your sports team. Okay? So when we're looking at the article, yes, the premise of it happening here, absolute gutter trash. But I think there is something to be said about whether or not Josh should take blame for how the offense has performed over the last 6 years. Now, here's what I mean specifically by that. When you think about the way that this offense operates, I think we mentioned a little bit, or I might have mentioned this either last episode or the episode before. It seemed as though oftentimes in games, the team had to, or the offense rather, had to overachieve. It oftentimes seemed as though the offense was an underdog to whatever defense we were playing against, right? I'll take you to games like the Jaguars game. I'll take you to games like the Titans game where Derrick Henry ran all over us. There always seems to be this barrier that stops the Bills from playing like they played in 2020, where they took the league by storm. They were throwing all over everybody, and nobody understood what was happening, right? It seems like after that year, there was a ceiling put on that, okay? Now, one of the things, I ran into an article today that talked about one of the things that could make Josh Allen's job a lot easier would be to install more play action. Now, we did see more of that last year than we've seen in the last 6 years combined, right? You can go look up the numbers. That's true. When you're talking about making this offense feel easier for Josh Allen, look easier for the viewer, and perform easier for the ancillary pieces, the offensive line, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs. Things like just play action. Something as subtle, I don't want to say subtle, but something as small as just adding play action to the playbook, to the scheme. That's a game changer. I think Josh Allen's passer rating was almost perfect on play action passes last year. If you want to go look that up, you can real quick just so we can get an exact number on it. You don't have to, but his stats on play action passes were amazing last year, right? But we know based on reports, Josh Allen prefers the shotgun.
Yep.
When you're in shotgun, one of the worst things you can do when you don't have a great offensive line is to play action out of the shotgun. Even if it is an option play where, Josh is deciding whether to pull and run himself or pull out and throw a slant. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the hardest things to accomplish on a regular basis, especially when you're calling that formation or that specific I'll just say that formation because you can run a bunch of plays out of the same formation. When you call that formation 2, 3, 4 times a game,
right?
If that's a staple in your offense and teams know that that's coming, all they got to do is shoot a gap. All they got to do is blitz it. It's easier for the defense to play against stuff like that because it limits your offense in its capability of executing plays that will force the defense to play honest. Right? So when I'm looking and when I'm asking this question, I'm asking, is Josh Allen's preference for how he likes to play the game of football, how he likes to throw, how he likes to be aggressive and run all over the field, does that to some degree end up being a detriment to what this team could do if he was a little more under control, if he was a little more I hate saying this and don't shoot me for saying this. If there was a little more Patrick Mahomes type of discipline to his game. Does that make sense? For me, I think if Josh Allen could let go of the ease for him to see, because the whole reason Josh likes playing in shotgun is because it's easier for him to see the field when the ball is snapped, right? He didn't have to turn his back to the defense, and he's tall enough where he can see over everybody and he can see everything that's going. That's cool and all, but that's if you're throwing 70% of the time, then okay, run your shotgun,
Right.
run your your spread offense. That's cool. But when you have a head coach, because this is where it gets tricky. When you have a head coach that wants to play disciplined football, that wants to minimize the opportunities for turnovers, who wants to run the ball and play defense like a traditionally minded head coach usually would, that creates a point of conflict. So now I'll pose the question to you based on that information. Should Josh take some of the blame for where the offense is, knowing that his head coach wants to win games, running the ball and play defense?
I mean, it's tough for me because I know a lot of pundits are adamant that Josh needs to run the play action, and I mean, as it stands right now, play action passing. Last year he was averaging about five play action attempts a game, completing 3 of them. For 66%. You're talking about 7 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. You're like you said, the rating for him 106.7, which is really good compared to 89.5 rating non-play action. For me, it's just tough because I'm sitting here thinking if you know his propensity, and Brady says to us that he's going to allow Josh to do the things that Josh wants to do in his offense. It's the onus is on the team to give him the best weapons around what he wants to do. And as it stands right now, Josh has not been very vocal about really anything. As we've talked about, I like him to be way more vocal than he has been. But I can see a little wrinkle in the play action game, and it definitely would help out when it comes to the fact that he already runs and defense they have to scheme for it. But you could blame him for it because it's his preference. You could. But for me, looking at his numbers, it's just not a drop-off. It's a wrinkle that they could add, but the drop-off isn't there for me to say, they have to do this more and more and more. I think Joe Marino definitely talks about Josh Allen. He wants him to be whatever number it is, I forget what percentage of the dropbacks he wants to be play action. But for me, it worked in the Dable to throw, and it comes with your, like you said, McDermott wanting to win a certain way.
Right.
And it's just a weird combination of head coach with quarterback. With Josh Allen's skill set, with his mentality, you would think they would go to an innovative offensive guy that will go ahead and say, you know what, just launch it. Just launch it. I don't even care. Just throw it down there. We don't let's run it up on everybody. And McDermott just doesn't want to do that. Obvious by the team he's assembled time and time again. Kelvin Benjamin's trotting out, what was the guy's name? Andre Holmes trotting out. Keon Coleman. He's not a burner. Guys that are not deep threats, even though people want to cast him as that. Gabe Davis. Look at what Kansas City did. They went and got Xavier Worthy 4-2, yep. And they went and got Hollywood Brown. They want speed. They want to throw that thing down there. Right. But that lends a hand to the offensive-minded head coach. Yeah. I mean, you could blame Josh for doing what he likes, but you also could blame the team for not allowing him to do what he likes or not, believing in him.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I just think it's a very interesting, dichotomy to this because you either side with the team that says players should do what the coach wants, or you side with the player and say, well, you know what? If you're a head coach and you understand something's not working for your player, you should be the type of coach that puts them in the best place to do what they do best anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think what makes this conversation a little bit more interesting and adds some more depth to it is Sean has been doing, what we want him to do for the offense, for the defense the entire time, which is putting players in a position to use their skill set to best suit the defense. Right? we've obviously seen a couple of cases where some players have come in and been put, in positions that don't suit their best skills or whatever. But as a whole, it's worked, right? But that, to me, that adds another level of depth, because it's like, wait a second, how are you as a head coach able to implement that thought process, that state of being for your defense, but when it comes to offense, you just have this very traditional, rigid, biased way of approach to your offense. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, your offense has to play in a box, but your defense functions great in a box because the box is designed to bring out the best in the player.
I think it's a comfort level for McDermott. Defense, he knows nuances. Mm-hmm. Offense is more like what we talked about when we talked about our high school coaches and stuff like that, where they're like, it's all theory. If you do this, it should be like this. That's it. I don't know anything else. And he's not comfortable enough to deviate from what he knows. I mean, that's evident by allowing Josh Allen to go in shotgun 87% of the snaps. I mean, that's a lot of snaps. 87%. So what is that? That gives you 23%. Mm-hmm. Or, I'm sorry, 13% under center. That's nothing to talk about. Right. That's really nothing to talk about at all. But inversely, Josh Allen does have a propensity for turning the ball over when he's under center. So it's a slippery slope, man. It really is. To me, I look here and I'm thinking, is it something that they just think he can't do? And not that I think he can't, but is it something that they're like, what, we tried it. A lot of the screen passes, that we don't throw screen passes because they're like, Josh Allen can't or won't.
It has. I'm telling you right now, it has nothing to do with Josh Allen.
With screen passes?
Yeah.
That seems like a McDermott thing. He won't want screen passes?
No. So one of the things that it might have been Tasker and Brown talking about this, but it doesn't suit the skill set of the offensive lineman. I heard this early on. This might have been like 4 years ago or something like that. But they were having issues in training camp trying to implement those plays, and so they just eventually scrapped them. Mm-hmm. And the times that they have tried to do them in game, it's gone so horribly bad. It's bad. You know what I'm saying?
It's really bad.
So for whatever reason, they keep bringing on guys that can't run a screenplay. But
and that's hilarious to me, because you think about the team they built. They built a James Cook team, a Ray Davis team, where he's supposed to get out there and block. That's what Morris was good for. He couldn't run block, but he was a good swing man, and they tried to make Deion Dawkins do it. Only player you're not going to see out there on a screen block is probably Osiris Torrance, because he's never going to get out there. Right. He's just never going to make it out to the outside in time. The play will be over 3 times over by the time he gets out of his stance.
And that's the part that becomes even more confusing is I think when you're thinking about the team build, you've got Osiris Torrance, who is a road grader. Mm-hmm. You've got Van Pran, who is a road grader. Mm-hmm. You have everybody else on the offensive line are pass blockers. Mm-hmm. Athletic guys that can get off the that can get into that can cover space. I would say, and pass block well. But when you think about what Sean has tried to implement on offense, where's the line full of road grading run blockers that are going to push people off the line and make enormous gaping holes for Cook to run through? You know what I'm saying?
I've yelled that forever. I mean, I've yelled that almost as long as the one tech conversation. I always called this a mismatched offensive line. Everybody used to say you got Dawkins, who really is not nimble. He's kind of like that average both, so that makes him above average as a whole. Right. He's like the most complete if you're talking about, both aspects. Right. But if you look at, like you said, Mitch Morris can't block against the run, can't anchor. McGovern was just bad last year. Right. Osiris Torrance was good at the beginning, but then when you talk about the next 7 games, he started to wear down a little bit, that's fine. Spencer Brown, when playing, is fine. Yeah, when he's used to playing 10 games. He played all 1,000 with 1,300 snaps or whatever it was. Right. Him and Spencer Brown, they really played all the whole season. So I commend them for playing every snap. But you always look at a team, you say, okay, we brought in James Cook. Let's go ahead and get a power run. What? He can't power run. So now everybody is shunning this guy because he's not the right running back for this line. When in fact, he's the right running back to go with Josh Allen, but he's not the right running back behind his line.
Right.
Josh Allen's line is Fitzpatrick's line, if you will. Fitzpatrick's line was crap, but he made it look really good by being quick, by being decisive. And Josh Allen is making the offensive line look really good by getting out of there, sometimes at a detriment. But he's getting out of there. So you don't want Ray Davis. Okay, you want Ray Davis, but what happens when you when it's not a power run and he's out there on a scamper and he's not that fast? I mean, he's all right. And as much as I hated Devin, well, I didn't hate Devin Singletary, but as much as I didn't need him here, the offensive line never did him any favors. Yeah. They never really they built the line for Josh Allen. That's why when they were throw, it worked. But now we're talking about a team that wants to be balanced. How do you be balanced with this offensive line?
Yeah. There's some part of this conversation that has to land on this point too, though. As I think this entire thing through and flesh out this the entirety of both sides of this conversation, I land on, even if Josh Allen was to say, okay, fine, I will let go of the shotgun. Right? You know where I'm going with this.
I will acquiesce. Okay, fine.
Right. But if I get behind that offensive line, it better be one that I can depend on when I turn my back to hand that ball off or fake hand that ball off and then turn around and throw the ball. Because I think that has a lot to do with the success rate of play action as a whole. And so let me clarify my entire thought when I say that. If you think about Josh's success last year with the play action, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Bills have not really run play action very much at all. Right? Mm-hmm. So for them to pull that out of the bag and do that was something very different from what they've done, right? And that's why it worked. Now, if you extrapolate that over 3 years, let's say, right? All of a sudden, teams know at some point you're going to try a play action pass, and play action passes are designed in such a way where even if the team knows you're going to do one a game, it will still catch them off guard whenever you decide to do it, right? Now, obviously, you're not going to call 3 or 4 play action passes in a row. Right. You know what I'm saying? But when you do call it, you want it to work. So when we're talking about a team expecting that to happen, right, and them having a plan in place for if no matter what, we just rush the passer. We don't even respect the run until they hand it off. We got linebackers in position to cover the gaps no matter what, because we know at some point during the game they're going to call a play action, and we want to be able to blow it up because that's going to set them back and give us a chance to get off the field. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm thinking about all of that, and I'm saying to myself, Josh does not have an offensive line that makes him feel secure enough to want to go under center, whether that's just a 100% preference of being in shotgun or 50% preference of being a shotgun, the other 50% I don't trust my offensive line in that situation. Whatever the case may be, either way, the offensive line still needs to be better. And I think the ultimate point in this conversation, you can tell me what you think about this too, because I want to hear your thoughts. What it really comes down to is the metric on how much money Sean McDermott has spent on defense versus what he spent on offense has been completely lopsided the entire time he's been head coach here.
I mean, I was going to say he dumps all his money in 2 positions: secondary, which is your safeties, and your D-line. Every year, D-line. You win in the trenches, but your trenches are not impressive. Right. They're never impressive.
That goes to Cinque was saying, I think our defensive line lacks the physicality trait.
They do, because McDermott builds a historical small team. He builds a finesse team. He doesn't like He doesn't like graders. Even when you had Starla Tulele, he wasn't really a one tech.
Right.
You know, he was casted as a one tech, and I saw it real fast. He was not what I thought he was. Daquan Jones was a revelation, but I challenge anybody watching the show right now to name me another one tech on this team. You can't do it, right. And that's not even an insult. You can't do it because it doesn't exist.
And Jones wasn't even really a one tech his whole career, though.
Nah, he just settled in.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just good at it here.
Right.
Nobody else can do it.
And that's the thing, you know, and like you said, when it comes to the disparity of money between offense and defense, when I'm a defensive head coach, I'm putting all my money on the other side.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
Right.
Because I know my side. I can make my side work, but I want to give that side the most talent I can get. Because I can't be as clever with that side. What you got?
I like this point, Lindsay saying, and you've said this too to a degree. I'll let you expound on that. Lindsay says, I concur. So to answer your question, is Josh Allen to blame? Only if he stays silent by not pushing his offense to play at their greatest potential.
Yeah, I mean, I've got
get into
I've
it,
gotten got for that.
Get
But
it.
yes, I mean, I would love to have a Josh Allen that's a little more boisterous, a little more, this is my team now. And I was hoping that with Steph Diggs going now, he's gonna step up and say, you know what, this is me. This is my team. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to run it. While you were talking, I actually was interested in how teams play Lamar Jackson. And his numbers are almost identical in the split with play action versus not. Now, my question to you with regards to that is it more of a disparity because they're getting spied all the time? Does that make a difference when you have a spy on the quarterback? It takes away the kind of the
disparity of what?
Success for a play action pet. Do you think that would play a role in why some coaches they shy away from their running quarterbacks with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and
running
other guys
play action?
Yeah. Because you already have somebody that's accounting for him, so it's not as much of a. I guess it's not as much of a confusing thing when you look. Okay, he's already got him, so this is my responsibility. I'm staying over here. I see it working, but when I looked it up, I actually would like to see more RPO. That's what I want to see more of.
Yeah, so there was an interview that Tasker and Brown had. I forget the guy's name, but he talked about something that he thinks might show up a lot more this season, which is the pistol. And I actually think that was a very I'll say unique thought, but it was a very good thought because based on what you see guys like Lamar and Josh do, they like standing back there and seeing the entire offense because mainly the biggest thing about being in a shotgun is it's not just seeing the field after the ball is snapped. It's you can see the entire time what the defense is doing. And there is nothing that the defense can do from the time we line up to the time the ball is snapped to the time I'm scanning scanning through my reads. There's nothing that they can do that I won't see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're in play action and you're turning your back, there's a chance that they can move from cover one to quarters or from cover 3 to cover 2. You know what I'm saying? Like we actually do a lot of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that that's a preference and that's why that's a preference, for guys like that like being in the shotgun. But I will say, when you're talking about an offense as a whole, and when you're talking about the ultimate team game, these quarterbacks they have to be able to do both. It's something that if they're not comfortable with it, do whatever you have to do to get comfortable with it. Do the work. Because ultimately, for Josh, there is no excuse. Dude, you fine-tuned and changed your entire throwing motion in one offseason and came back better than ever as far as your accuracy is concerned. So if you can fix that, you can just about fix anything else about your game. Hands down. Right. Like, there's no excuse for that. You know what I'm saying? And I think the same thing should go for any quarterback coming in. You know what I mean? Like, I just – at some point, if you're a franchise QB, a part of it is your coach needs to put you in a position to make your job easier. But the other half of that, the marriage to that, is making sure. Don't kill me for that, Damaris. You know what I meant. The other side of that is the quarterback doing whatever is necessary to basically open the playbook and widen the abilities or the play call the play calls that can be called in the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to worry about whether or not Lamar Jackson can read more than 2 reads per play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to worry about, is he going to be able to, make 3 reads in 1 second? Like, I'm sorry. For as long as these guys have played quarterback at a semi-professional level, at a college level, wherever you want to look at, they've gotten enough snaps to be able to do what I call, I don't know what the term for this is, but when you look at the field and you just kind of see everything all at the same time, mm-hmm. right? Most times when you do that, you're kind of using your main and your peripheral vision at the same time. And you have to train your eyes and your brain to be able to do that at will. You know what I'm saying? But that has to be something you want to do. Like when I first started learning how to drive, my uncle would take me out on the road and he would tell me to drive and look straight, don't look at any of my mirrors. Mm-hmm. And he would ask me, how many cars are behind you? What color? Yep. What side are they on? Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like that's stuff that if you want to be a good driver, mm-hmm. you got to learn. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that to me, I think is the landing point from like in my mind. You know mm-hmm. what I'm saying? It's about the money, and it's about the way that Sean wants to build this team. And if Josh wants things his way, then Lindsey's absolutely right. He's got to speak up. He's got to.
Yes, Lindsey, we stand united.
No, I'm reading from this comment from Jack. Josh Rosen is available for you right now.
Why? Well, I mean, no.
Right. I think that might have been in reference to the Marissa article.
Oh yeah.
So if we end up getting rid of Josh, then we could definitely get Josh Rosen in here.
No, I'm good.
We got the wrong Josh.
100. Yeah. And I did say that, so I'm going to put myself all the way out there. That was me on that day.
Actually, if you want to pull this up, Laura says, do you have any figures about how much McDermott and Bean spent on offense versus defense? I need to see the math before I get my hatchet out.
No, I do. Are you mad? You want to be mad?
Let's do it.
Well, what I was looking at before we got into it, I was looking to see who had the most play-action passing attempts out of starters last year. So Jared Goff and Tua, with 151 and 126 respectively. Jordan Love at 113. Geno Smith at 113. Dak Prescott and Desmond Ridder tied at 100. And Josh Allen is 12th in play-action pass attempts with 92. So, I mean, it seems like the league is going away from the pass play-action as a whole. I'm not sure where they're going, but they're going away from it. Maybe because they're all going out of shotgun now. That's the way they're moving. But who is this Laura that I'm supposed to be pissing off right now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, man.
Let's see. How can I upset Laura?
All right. While you pull that up, Lindsay says, got somebody on my side about defense. I'm loving Snake Chandler. Sinke. It looks like Snake every time I read it. Sinke says, I'm not sure why we resigned Jones or extended Rousseau. Him nor Epinesa have shown anything, to be honest, sub players. You don't think AJ showed a little bit of something last year? Like to me, the whole thing with AJ Epinesa has been him getting used to playing at the weight that he's at. Like it took him a minute to get there and stay there and kind of stabilize it. But the other part of that was discipline and developing his skill set. He needed more. Well, I'll say he needed pass rush moves in general because he was more of a bull rusher at Iowa. You know what I'm saying? So I think for what we seen last year and him getting the 6 sacks and the little bit of playing time that he had, I think that does kind of speak to a light going on for him, so to speak.
Yeah, for me, I wanted to get into that just a little bit, but while I'm fumbling through trying to figure out where exactly this is. If we're looking at so we'll just go. We'll go here. What team rankings is it here? Anyway, let's see. So if we're looking at the team by position, I'll just read it off to you. Was it Laura?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've invested 11.8% of our payroll at $33 million into our quarterbacks. 1% into our running backs, $5.5 million. We have 6% in our wide receivers.
Wait, let me get the
18 mils. Okay.
I want to do some totals just for impact.
Okay.
So give it to me again. It's 33
So
million.
33. Let's see. Are you doing? You want the percentage or you want the?
Just give me the total number. So 33 million.
33.3 mil.
We'll just say 33.
5.5 for running backs. Wide receiver, we're at 18.
Okay.
At that 6.4% for you guys keeping track at home.
All right, so that's a little over 56 million for
so far. Tight ends, 13.6.
So we'll say 14 on that.
4.8%. Offensive line, 11% at 33.2 mil.
Okay.
Now, if you go to defensive line, 18% at 50 million for the defensive line.
Wait. So, Laura, just so you know, right as of right now for offense, it's 103 million. It's probably a little bit over that because I just kind of took the bigger number. But it's a little over 103 million for the offense, right? Okay, defense. Now, 50 million, right? Already.
50.7 mil, 18% of the payroll. And that's just defensive line. Linebackers, 21 million, 7%. Secondary, another 11% at 32 million. And we won't go into kickers and punters.
Okay. Plus.
So if you just add
it is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
About the exact same now.
Yeah, but see the thing is, if you just add up the 32 mil for secondary, and the 50 mil for defensive line, we'll just get rid of the linebackers altogether because they're only 7%.
Yeah.
You're looking at
That's
$82 million just for your D backs and your D line.
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, it's even on both sides of the ball because of Josh Allen's contract. Like, if you take out Josh Allen's contract, you're at $70 million for your offense. Little over $70 million, right? Everybody else adds up to about $70 million, and you still got $30 million more that gets spent on the defense. Yep. I mean, every team that has a franchise quarterback is going to spend about that much on their quarterback. So that's why I say you can take out Josh Allen's contract and just look at what he spent at all the other positions, because that's really what matters the most is the guys you put around that franchise quarterback. And when you're only getting, 70% of what's spent on the defense spent on the offense,
right,
plus your salary, I mean, you're making some magic out of a pile of
if you look at the dead cap hit in itself, Stephon Diggs, 12% of the cap. Tre'Davious White, 6.2 against the cap. Leonard Floyd, 4.3 against the cap. Ryan Bates, $4 million against the cap. Micah Hyde, 3.4. Mitch Morris, $3 million. Jordan Poyer, $2 million. Daquan Jones, they extend him, so don't worry about that. Deontay Hardy, 1.6 mil. Tim Settle, 1.3 mil. This is the contracts that they put out there, and these are all the guys that they say, you know what, I'm just gonna push everything down. And Tim Settle, how's he even a dead cap when they made him take a salary cut? And these are the guys you have in charge of the money.
That's it.
Yes, that's tough.
That's it.
Speaking of which, going into what you said, well, did you have any other thoughts on Josh Allen? Or?
No, go ahead.
Speaking of which, what you said about FNS and Greg Rousseau, somebody mentioned that.
Yep.
Based on my numbers, Greg Rousseau is going to run us in upwards of $15 million a season.
No.
At what he is right now.
No. No.
No?
Sinke says, of course, Lindsay, and we wonder why we can't win. The defensive line doesn't have that dog in them, just players. Lindsay says Epinesa is on the rise, but seems like Rousseau drops off in the later parts of seasons. That's very true. Lindsay also says, I would like to see Von Miller push his defense to their greatest abilities.
Speaking of Von Miller, Von Miller was actually at the SAC Summit with with Max Crosby and somebody else. Von Miller, he expressed anger, not in any particular fashion, but just anger, and he wants to unleash it on somebody this season. He says he's back and he's ready to prove people wrong. You're 35, my boy. I just messed my back up trying to dry off in the shower. It's a wrap for you.
It's a different type of 35. Though,
bro. I'm 40, so but still, you're 35. It don't bounce back. The bounce don't come back like it used to. You tore your ACL. You got your Achilles. I appreciate you angry.
Yeah.
And like I said last show, I think he catches a lot of ridicule, mostly unjustly because the Bills offered a name again, and they're going to keep doing this. Speaking of names, the Buffalo Bills fans make me sick.
Why?
Why, oh why are people lamenting in the fact that Stephon Diggs fell off the Pilates table?
Yo,
did you see that?
I did see it. It is it's utter nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Why does that even matter? He's finished.
Yeah, somebody was like, the Bills won the trade. I'm like, because he fell off the Pilates table?
You know how hard it is to stay on a Pilates machine?
No, but you know how hard it is to do Pilates in general?
Yeah, just in general. You're right.
General.
Right. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, at my peak, I had a pregnant instructor helping me lift my leg above my head in a Pilates class. So,
that's where my brain went, Andrew. He said, don't say he's going to unleash his anger. You're making his girl scared. That's where I was going to go, but I don't like to make DV jokes, so I'm going to stay away from that one.
Yeah, I'm going to back up a little bit from the table on that. But
you're right. Sinke says, do you think we bring in Simmons before we start the season at a lower price? I don't trust Edwards to be a top-tier safety.
Who is this? Who said this?
Sinke Chandler.
Oh, you my best friend. You are my best friend. I never trusted nor liked Edwards. So, I said, I can't believe I had to say this a couple of times, but, Edwards was one of my guys I had to watch out for because that's all we got. That's all we have. I mentioned, was it Louis Sine 2 shows ago? As somebody I saw was on the outs in Minnesota. I'm like, reclamation. We've done it with Poyer, who was almost out of the league before he got to Buffalo. Now he's, what do they call him, J-Po. Micah Hyde, who was a tweener cornerback safety, who made a hell of a career for himself in Buffalo.
Listen, for everybody who hasn't come to this conclusion, really quick, if you haven't come to the conclusion that Hyde is not coming back, like we just need to, like, that's over with. There is no, if you really understand, or if you've watched the Eric Wood interview and you understand what's going on in his neck, he's not coming back.
Yeah, and the thing is, my thing is this: I don't know if I would go as far as say he's not going to come back, but I will go as far as say he's not going to play again. He's not going to come back as a player.
Yeah, if he comes back as a coach, I'd be ecstatic.
Oh, I could see him with the sweats on the side, inactive, whatever, because he's already under contract with his dead cap. So I mean, you could finesse it however you want, but. You could even put him on the practice squad and say, on game days, just stand on the sideline.
Right.
You could do that too.
That's very true.
But yeah, I think, to our chagrin, they're not doing anything with Mike Edwards. They like this dude for some reason. I don't know why. I watched all the film I could watch on this dude. I looked at Pro Football Reference. Yes, I'm going on a tangent because now I'm triggered. I've looked at Pro Football Reference. I saw what his best games were. I watched his best games. I still don't know who the hell Mike Edwards is.
Okay.
He's on the field. Mm-hmm. I don't want him on the field with my red, white, and blue squad.
We have 2 ex-Chiefs on this team. Is this a case of if you can't beat them, join them?
That's backwards, I guess.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I don't say Man, I just, oh man, if we got to go into the season with Taylor Rapp and Mike Edwards, and we're confident in that.
Listen, I think I don't know Simmons, but if I'm a vet and I'm out there and I've put out the kind of production that I've put out, listen, I can sit back and wait. Somebody's going to be able to use me, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a bowl contender that's going to want my services, right? we had a whole episode about this. I think Simmons on this defense instantly puts us into relevance when it comes to, competing for a Super Bowl. I can't. I kind of wanted to talk about this too.
Go ahead.
When you look at, well, let me get my first point off first. I'm bouncing all over the place, right? So I think with regard to Simmons, I think him coming onto this team solves a lot of problems for this defense. A lot of problems. First of all, it makes Edwards' job that much easier, right? I think Edwards has the ability to play both free and strong, right?
All right. He has the ability to play. Fine.
He has the ability to play free and strong. He just does.
With that
You know who he's like? He's the Levi Wallace of safeties, where he's just a safe player. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna lose you the game and let a bunch of big like that. That's his game. So if he plays either side, if Simmons is here, he's got to play strong. Simmons comes in, plays strong. That free, and now you've got your ball hawk and you've got your guy that can get down in the box and make plays. So I think that's something that needs to be done. Do I think it's going to be done? Honestly, I don't. I will be very surprised if the Bills sign Justin Simmons, simply because most of the time the Bills like to keep about $5 or $6 million in the pocket just in case for injuries and stuff like that. And I don't think they've signed all of their draft picks yet.
They did.
They did. They signed all of them? Okay.
They did.
So
but the caveat to where you're going with that is they're still operating under the top 51 contract. So once you get to the 53, we lose a lot of money.
Off of that $10 million?
Off of our total salary cap numbers. Let me see. I have it here somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, right here. So your top 51. We're at 7.5 mil right now.
Okay.
The cap space we're negative 25. So obviously we're going to make some things shake in order to field everybody on the team.
They really can't afford to.
They
anyway.
don't have.
I don't understand it. Why does everybody throw around this 10, 11 million like it's just sitting there waiting to be used?
They have it and they can cut people, but yeah, and that's the thing about it. When people talk about how much money we have, I just tend to not listen. Because a lot of the big names, they're the ones that say the salary cap doesn't exist. Yeah, you can do. I mean, you listen to guys on YouTube and everywhere else talking about if you do this, you do that, you move this, you move that, and now you can fear. I don't want. I mean, I had one guy. He freed up like $30-something million in cap space by moving everything down the line. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want a $40 million. I don't want a Bobby Bonilla at Von Miller at 41 years old still on the cap. I don't want aging players that do us no good to still be getting paid by our organization now and in the future. Yeah, you could move everything around you want because we could play around with the numbers all day long and say, oh yeah, let's go ahead and move. Let's see, who do we have? Let's move Matt Milano. Let's break him up and move him down the line. Let's go ahead and move Deion Dawkins. Let's give him an extension. Right. Let's do Ed Oliver again. Move him down. I don't want to do that. So we have the capability of doing it. When you look at the numbers here, we're 26th in the league in cap space, top 51 cap space. We're second in dead cap because of Stephon Diggs is $31 million. That takes half of what we have there. So there's only one team in the league that has more dead cap than we do, and guess who that is? Broncos. But I mean, it can be done, but at what cost? And that's what people don't think about. When I look at this, I'm like, yeah, we could re-up and try to make a run at it in 2024. But when you look at who we have on the team, we really don't have the Justin Jeffersons. We don't have the Chris Jones or the impact players that you can get it done in 1 year and say, let's back to the drawing board next year. Yep. It's just not feasible.
Right. And one of the other things that you've said before too is, for those people who are looking at this year and thinking that, there's light at the end of the tunnel in 26, Josh Allen's cap hit is $60 million next year. A lot of these guys' contracts is going to hit some big numbers next year. Milano's is going to hit big numbers. The Ed Oliver's is going to hit big numbers. There's some guys with some big contracts. Kyer Elam, are you going to re-sign him? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are getting missed when we're looking at this cap situation. But I wanted to see what you think about this real quick. Laura says the team needs to end Micah's term playing. He's a hero and would make a good coach. But she's got a hot take, and I really like this. She says teams who want to win would have moved on by now. What you think about that?
Oh yeah, I mean this is a team of emotions. This is definitely a team of emotions. This is a team. We have leaders in the room. You can't have it both ways. We're going on a youth movement right now. You're going to have guys that make mistakes. You're going to have guys that need to be coached up. You're going to have guys that are going to learn as they go. McDermott and Co is not ready for that. They're not equipped to allow mistakes and screw ups and stuff. It's going to happen. But guess what? The guys that mess up and screw up. Look at Josh Allen's first year. He sucked. He was at 58% completions. He had more interceptions than touchdowns. And it was like, oh man, even his second year, we were like, this might not be the guy. You go ahead, get him a receiver. Like I said, you get him some star power, and look what happens. Now, to that article, the article said, this is the year when – that's why I said I agree with that point. This is the year when you find out how good Josh Allen really is, because there's nothing there. People thought that he put the team on his back last year, the year before that. Nah, man, because there's nobody going into training camp this year that we can say that's the number 2 guy. That's his bailout. Even as much as we love Khalil Shakir, as much as we love Dalton Kincaid, there's sophomore slumps for Kincaid we got to worry about.
That's true too.
Keon Coleman, he's raw. And I think Joe Marino said that he only expected Coleman to have 55 targets. Yeah. And I was like, targets? You mean receptions? Targets. So where does the rest of it go?
Yeah.
And that's the question that you don't have with a team that has established talent. So to the point that was it Laura that said that? You have to have you have to give grace. You have to give grace. We have to go out there and say, okay, week 1, wow, that ball bounced off Keon Coleman's face. Are we going to bench him? No, we're going to let him play through it. Get the ball right back to him. Are we going to allow James Cook to get stopped in the backfield? Yes, because it's going to happen behind a new line. Curtis Samuel, is he going to run the wrong route with Josh Allen because he doesn't know the cadence? Yes. But this is the stuff that has to happen. Dorian Williams getting pulled off the field as a starting linebacker because he had the wrong gap responsibility. No, you have to give him a couple of chances before you say, you know what, he ain't got it. Pull him. And they don't do that. They never do that unless it's one of their chosen few like we identified last time. Devin Singletary, Josh Allen, people like that. So, I mean, you have to see a whole change in the philosophy of the guys in charge in order for this team to move on from the good old boys, from the locker room guys, from Von Millers, from the Taron Johnsons, because they re-sign them all. And they're getting long in the tooth, and they just keep re-signing them. This is not a I want to get better. This is I know you, Deion Dawkins. I know what you can do. I don't want to try to get better. I know what you are. Right. And that's my main thing that I hate about this team in terms of how they run it is they keep wanting to run everything back. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. It's not working. It's not working. Now the guys are a year older. And why has Deion Dawkins never gotten competition? Why was Devin Singletary never afforded competition when he had Zach Moss? Why is it that Gabe Davis is always a starter?
As soon as you're a starter and you're one of the inner circle dudes,
you
don't
locked.
get competition.
You're locked in.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't even bother.
And you said it about Levi Wallace. They brought in competition all the time, but you knew he was going to win.
Right.
You knew he was going to win, and that's my guy. So I'm not slandering him, but if you're going to get better, you have to try to get better. You have to what do they say? Iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
What iron are they really using? Where is the iron?
Yeah.
You're for all intents and purposes. In the eyes of the team, the championship teams, you either won or you go home. So you're a loser. You won 13, 12, 11 games, whatever it is, but you didn't win the prize. You got to go back to the drawing board, and you got to get better.
This is how deep it goes. And this is where my brain goes. When you think about the city of Buffalo, and I'm not trying to depress anybody. I'm trying to expose things as they should be exposed so that we can make informed decisions. Last year, Buffalo was the 3rd poorest city in the country. 3rd poorest. 52 states. All the cities that exist within those states. Thousands.
It's some bad cities.
Tens of thousands. Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. There's some rough cities.
third poorest in the country. Okay? One of the things associated with being poor is being emotional. You go through a lot when you're poor. You struggle a lot when you're poor. You get frustrated easier. You know, you're on edge more. You're dealing with a lot of, pushback from different areas. You know what I mean? Your car breaks down. That makes your day worse. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff plays into a mindset within someone who is impoverished. Not saying everybody in Buffalo is poor. There's 1%ers everywhere. but
I want to be one day.
I'm going to be one day. But Billy Williams says it's aluminum. No, it's not aluminum in the water. That one got you.
It's aluminum, man.
When you think about the state that the city is in economically, and then you add on to that a team that makes as much as it does, and is technically part of the 1% of the world, technically, financially, what they do with marketing and what all marketing companies do is they do the very best job that they can to get the consumer to connect to a product emotionally first. It's why we love when this team is an underdog so much, because we've been one the entire existence of the team, except for 6 years. The 4 Super Bowl years and the 2 years in 65 and 66. That's the only time that we've been able to stand up on a hill to some degree, because obviously the 4 years we didn't win a Super Bowl.
Right.
The only time in our team's history that we've been able to stand on a hill and scream, F the free world, we are big and bad, and you know what I'm saying?
Somebody's watching 8 Mile lately, I see. So I picked up what you were putting down on that one.
Right? So the point I'm trying to make in all this is we are in a position where we are more susceptible to the marketing of the Buffalo Bills than someone outside of the city. Most of the money that's made by the team is from the people in the city. We buy the tickets. We buy the merchandise for the most part, right? So it's a little frustrating when you see how this team uses its money and throws it around and picks its players and does all of these things that teams who win, or teams who are focused on winning, I think is the better way to say it. Teams who are focused on winning oftentimes don't find themselves in positions that we've been in the last 6 years of this Super Bowl window.
I mean, think about it. The easiest way I can put this for you is, what would the Bills have done had they had the Tyreek Hill situation? Right. Tyreek Hill was taking all the money at this point. I mean, not saying that he didn't deserve money, but their best receiver. And they said, you know what? Our time has come to an end. Go find another team. The Bills would never do that. Well, unless Stephon Diggs says, I don't want to play here anymore and I'm not playing here anymore. Right. But outside of that, they're never going to say to a player who is still productive and still in the graces, I'll say, I don't know how good a grace Tyreek was with Kansas City, but we didn't hear that there was a mutiny involved like we did with Stephon Diggs, national media. But the Bills hold on to those players forever. Right. Like you said, it's a small city mentality that says, you know what, we're not committed to winning. We're committed to what we know. We're committed to being comfortable. We're committed to not venturing into the abyss of the unknown. That's scary to us. Mm-hmm. We don't want to get worse. And I'm a victim of that in my own personal life. I'm afraid of getting worse. Right. I was talking to you about that earlier today. But back to football, in order to get better, sometimes you have to try. And what did Einstein say? Was it Einstein that said, what was it about the light bulb? You know, he tried to screw it, whatever it was.
When he was trying to create the light bulb.
Yeah.
He said he found whatever 200 some odd ways not
ridiculous.
to make a light bulb.
And only one way does it.
Right.
And the thing is, he tried 1,000,000 times in order to get to the desired result.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bills have told us we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to get better. We're doing this. We're trying that. We're signing this. We're building this facility. We're doing that.
The example has been all around them the entire existence of the team.
Yep.
Just look at what other teams are doing.
Yep.
It's a copycat league for a reason.
It's a reason.
Because if you don't know how to do it, someone
Somebody
else
else
just
does.
figured it out last year.
Right. Case in point.
Do what they do.
Right. Case in point. You had the blueprint on how to beat, was it Kansas City that year?
Yep.
And after that, everybody's like, we're going to do that.
Right.
But the Bills never do that.
No.
The Bills don't never say, you know what, they're blitzing. Let's blitz. They blitzed 24% of the snaps last year. I'm like, yo, you built the defensive line. You got these linebackers. Why you got all this $50 million into the defensive line, but you don't blitz?
Because the team is not built to win. It's built to suit Buffalo. It's built to be, I was saying this to somebody today when I was driving Uber. It's built to the specs of the marketing to the city. It's blue collar, it's high motor, it's hardworking, it's hard nosed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are the four things that we hear about this team more than anything else you will ever hear about the Buffalo Bills in history, right? And when you look at the way this team is built, it's a bunch of guys that are overachieving, a bunch of guys that are trying hard and constantly working, and that works for us because it's an embodiment, or it's like watching ourselves overcome life.
Right.
On a football field.
Right.
And so we root for that. We connect with that. We cheer for that because it's a reflection of us. We see ourselves in the team. And that's what they want. If this was about winning, we would have won by now. But it hasn't been. I think I said this to you before. It's about culture. And when you make the build of the team about culture, and that's the focus, this is what you end up with. You end up with emotional decisions to get rid of a wide receiver that could help you win a championship. You make emotional decisions to go and sign a player in Von Miller that you say you've wanted the whole time, and you were just trying to find the right circumstance to get him under. And it just so happened that when not many other teams wanted him, you decided you were going to be the team that paid him astronomical money, when really there was only two other teams competing with you realistically at the time.
Yeah, I came to Buffalo to tell them I was thanks for doing. I saw. Watch out, man!
Right.
I don't want to hear that. When I saw the locker room, I saw the culture. I just had to stay. No, they gave you $120 million, $100 million guaranteed. You say, you know what? I ain't getting that nowhere else. Let me get that off you.
Exactly.
Let me grab that. I got to wear a Bills jersey, Bills sweatshirt. Throw it on. Let's go. Press conference. Right. You got the check ready? All right, let's go.
Right.
That's how it works.
Right.
You know, and those are not the money wise, but those are the kind of signings that you need to really bring some juice to the team. The Stephon Diggs trade brought juice, brought notoriety, brought credibility to the Bills, because they're signing a headache. They're signing, how are they going to manage this guy? It's to the tune of 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons, 4 straight Pro Bowl, just wiping turning the league on his ear, and then he becomes too big for him, so they get rid of him. Who's next? Von Miller, he's 35 years old. We got him 2 more years, maybe. Who's next? When he's gone, who's the next name? There isn't one. And they're going to try to tell you, I don't know who. They're going to try to tell you Keon Coleman is the next coming of the superstar. He might be. But right now, it's too much up in the air. It's too much in the air for me to even say, you know what? I know who the contingent of stars are, who the upper echelon players on the team are, who are the leaders. I don't know them. Right. We're going to call captains to try, like you said, try hards, the guys that play special teams, the guys that lead in line. I'm telling you right now, Connor McGovern, Dawson Knox will probably be a captain. People don't even really like Dawson. They want him gone. He's the number 2 tight end. Tyler Medikevich was a captain forever. What was the guy's name? Tywan Jones was a captain before that. These guys never play on their respective sides of the ball, but they're captains. Why? Because they're just culture, man. Where Von Miller is a captain.
Exactly.
Steph Diggs is the captain. Josh Allen's a captain. Who else? And when people start to answer that question honestly, you're going to see what kind of team you built.
Yep. That's it. We got a little bit of time left to finish up stuff. Well, we kind of been already going through stuff, but I like what I'm seeing here on the screen.
Well, what do you like? Say which one?
The CD Lamb.
Oh yeah, okay. CeeDee Lamb will request to be traded if the Cowboys do not offer him a new contract worth at least $32 million per year. He wants to at least be the second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
Why do you have that right under that point?
Well, I skipped around.
Oh,
that
okay.
was the Stephon Diggs point. The Bills maybe Bill Smith. Yeah.
I got you.
But I was driving. I was just free, right? But yeah,
I love how this is like a snapshot of like how your brain like processes things.
It's murky. The abyss of darkness.
Yeah.
So CeeDee Lamb is requesting a trade if he is not the second highest paid wide receiver in the league.
Would you make him the second highest paid receiver in the league here?
If I could, if
there was a way to work it into the salary cap,
sure,
you would.
Sure,
really,
sure. I mean, Josh Allen's under contract for what, 5 more seasons, at least. That's going to be that's the tough part, because Josh Allen, give Josh Allen 1 more year. And you know what? I think the Bills really lucked into this one, because I don't think Josh has it in him to say, you know what, like you said, after Free World, pay me. I'm the 11th, 12th, 13th, like what, 15 next year after Purdy and all them get their deal?
Yep.
He's just going to keep falling and falling and falling. If you're the number 2 quarterback in the league, you probably should get paid like a top 5 at least. And that $63 million hit, everybody, oh yeah, that's because they restructured him.
Yep.
He didn't get that as part of his contract. That's because they pushed stuff down the line. So if you could find a way to fit in a CeeDee Lamb under the cap with a Josh Allen, and CeeDee Lamb's only what, 24, 25? Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. I mean, if I could do it, I would do it.
Kevin says, "I'm sorry, but that's a hard pass on CD. He's not fast enough."
He's not fast enough, but I mean, look at what he can do. Look at the route running. Look at the hands. Look at the size. Look at and I'm not a size guy, but for his productivity, I can turn a blind eye to his speed. You know, he's too quick. He's proven it. He's proven it. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, let's see, where is he? Let's see.
I mean, for as good as Dak Prescott is, for CeeDee Lamb to have the numbers that he has right now.
Yeah.
I mean, his numbers are only behind Justin Jefferson, and in some categories, he's better than Justin Jefferson.
I mean, I'm looking at out of 4 years, he's got 3 Pro Bowls, which we really don't care about, but he's associated press All Pro. Second team 2022, first team last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say All Pro first team.
Yeah, Associated Press Offensive Player of the Year. He came in 3rd place in that. So I mean, yeah, okay, he wasn't that. What did he run, a 4.5 or something like that?
Yeah.
So yeah, he ran a 4.5. So that's not really even slow. It's just not blazing fast. But at 6'2", 200. I mean, you're talking about a guy he had 181 targets last year, 135 receptions for 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns. Sign me up. Especially on a team devoid of any wide receiver known talent. You know, I mean, I don't want to insult Curtis Hingle. I don't want to insult MVS or Claypool.
The way they're talking about how the Bills are going to use Curtis Samuel, they can. We can disrespect him all we want.
All that running?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that running back foolishness.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kev, same speed as Keon. That's right. They're actually cousins. So that shouldn't surprise you. Super Promo says, would you take Andy Reid and Allen or Mahomes and Joe Brady, and who has the most success?
Ooh.
That's an easy one for me.
Andy Reid and Allen?
Andy Reid and Allen.
Or Joe Brady and Mahomes?
Yeah,
I'll take Andy Reid and Allen.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. I mean, obviously the X factor is Andy Reid. I mean, you got a guy who has single-handedly taken over the league and has always been an amazing offensive mind and an amazing head coach.
And likes chicken nuggies.
Okay,
we got a fact check his blue cheese though.
Wendy's chicken nuggies on top of that. Like, that's a whole different level of love.
You know what he would love then?
Because them joints ain't even that great.
No. You know what he would love?
What?
The BBQ chicken.
Yo.
Boneless. He would smash that out.
BBQ chicken doesn't even have a section where you can you know how you can add special order stuff to your order?
Yeah.
No, you take it as it is.
Nah.
You come pick it up in 2 minutes after you just ordered it, and that's it. You
My man, he got the hat on back. He's like, yo.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, dude
window.
be chilling up there. He like, as soon as you walk in, he stand up. He look at the bag. What's the name? Yes, it's you. Here, go.
With his little hat on back, he in that window yelling at people like, yo, that's my guy right there.
Yeah. But yeah, Andy Reid for me is the X factor. I mean, it's. I like Joe Brady. I like what he did at LSU, but to be honest, that's been the height of his career. Was having Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and who was the other receiver he had on that team?
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Right. I mean, how could you not have an amazing offense
run fast, throw it.
Exactly. Just do whatever route you want to do. It's gonna beat whoever's covering you, and I'm just gonna throw the ball up
on 3.
Right. So yeah, I mean, there's that. That's part of the reason why I confidently say Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league now. After looking at the impact of Andy Reid and looking at what both quarterbacks were in college, both quarterbacks were pretty similar in terms of performance in college. Now, Mahomes was at Texas Tech, right? And Allen was at Wyoming. But in terms of their ability to take over games and do what they do on a football field, obviously Allen had much lesser talent around him than what you would have at a Texas Tech. Yeah. But for both of those guys coming into the league and, one of them getting taught by the best offensive mind in the game right now and the other one getting taught by Sean McDermott, I'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Right.
We can say Joe Brady, we can say Brian Daboll, but ultimately part of the battle with Daboll and Sean was Sean wants the offense to look a certain way. And the same thing is going to be happening this year with Brady. It's cool, all the stuff that Brady can do, but Brady's job is to do what Sean wants to do and make it work. Mm-hmm. That's Brady's job this year. Yep. So we'll see if it works. Andrew Knight says, Reed shovel those nugs so fast you don't even taste it. Probably.
Man, hand over fist and nugs. Hand over fist and nugs.
Right. What else we got?
So today is Dog Day at Bison Stadium. I mean, obviously the game has already started, but who thought that was a good idea to have Dog Day at a baseball game? What, dog gonna sit on your lap and watch the game? Dog gonna have a corn dog? Dog gonna have a couple Miller Lights?
So, if somebody hits a home run, you know how loud a home run usually sounds, mm-hmm. right? Somebody hits a home run.
Helter skelter.
And one of them sketchy dogs that's scared of everything, like, just poops out of nowhere. Like, like I have one. Like my dog Santana is one of them dudes. Like he is nervous about everything and anything. So I can imagine him being at a game and all of a sudden, Gah! Like you hear the bat. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, my hand is feeling wet and something stinks. I'll have a major problem with that.
I'm just like, okay, because there's a dog in my neighborhood.
I do not dress my dog in Prada. Thank you very much.
He might. They must have saw you.
Huh?
They must have saw you.
No. No. We do not spoil our dogs to that degree.
His dog does have Jordans, though. Trust me.
If they made dog Jordans, he would definitely have a pair. That I can say.
I'm just trying to figure out what is the point of Dog Day at the stadium, though? Like, what is the I can see Star Wars night. I see Philharmonic night. But you're bringing your dog to the stadium, like you said, to poop on everything, to pee on everything, to sniff each other's butts, and it's like, hey, that's not even an AO moment. Dogs do these things, and I'm like, but then we got this dog in our neighborhood. This dog is crazy.
Hello? Squeaky Clean Cleaning Service? We'll need your entire staff for one day, everything. Please. We need you to bring every pooper scooper you have.
Everything you got.
And every small bag.
Little baggie, yeah. Yeah. Because it's going to get interesting. We got this crazy dog in our neighborhood. Ken calls him Cujo, which is right. Just how crazy is this? It's a. What
is
this
he
kind of
Sandlot
dog?
big?
Huh?
Is he Sandlot big?
It's that kind of dog.
It's
Literally like a big dog. This dog's been through something. It's a girl, I think.
been through
some things.
It's got scars.
This how bad it is.
Smoking a cigarette.
The dude won't walk the dog during the daytime.
Why?
Because the dog is nuts, like certified crazy. The dog, like if you walk outside my apartment complex, my apartment door, and the dog sees you, he loses his mess, loses it on you. Case in point, we got a little dog park across the street from where I live, and I was going to my car to get some out of it, and I saw this couple with their dog, and they're just having a good spring afternoon. And I'm like, oh, y'all going to the dog park? They're like, yeah, like you probably don't want to do that. Just like, why? I said, dogs in there you don't want to be around. So they're like, oh, no. I'm like, trust me on this one. Do not take your dog by that gate. As soon as they got on the other side of the street, parallel to when this dog rushed the fence and lost his mind, or her mind, lost her mind. And I'm like, I told you. Like, it's to the point where this dude, like, he'll bring the dog to the dog park. Like, he'll get there and see another dog in there, and you'll see him just stop and just turn around and go back.
Wow.
Got much better, though. The dog has gotten much better. I will give him that. He's doing an excellent job, but dog is insane. Insane.
Might be a rescue.
I think it is. And that dog has bodies under his belt.
Laura says, I don't co-sign dog outfits, but a pair of Jordans is dope. It would be. It would be. It would be. You not a dog person?
No, I don't like animals. I'm not an animal person.
No animals?
No.
Really?
No. Those guinea pigs, they're fine. But I just from afar. I'm like, what's up, Otis? What's up, Frank? All right then.
So what's gonna happen when guinea pigs turn into I want a dog?
I don't know if Ken's gonna. He might, but he let T know early on before we even got him. I ain't helping clean him up. He's like, He said, I'm not really helping with anything. I'm a kid. I said, you keep that energy, son. I'm a kid. And you know what that's what I think about. You know what we dope? Those Syracuse Orangeman sneakers I sent you the picture of on your dogs. Put them on there.
The
Orangeman sneakers I sent you?
No.
Put those on your dogs.
No.
Why?
No, listen. I want you to teach my dog how to do that roundhouse kick you was doing in the picture. That's
I was getting it. I was getting it.
Leg was all the way
up here. And I wasn't even, man, I was just getting started.
Laura said Key only co-signs Skechers.
How does she know? Skechers is the truth. Yeah. I'm trying to get a deal with some Skechers.
Really?
Man, listen. Change your life.
They need to only sell that brand of shoe at the Good Feet store.
I would go there to get them. You know Skechers coming out with a basketball shoe?
What?
Yeah, I'm getting them. T told me I can't have them, but I'm getting them.
No, you can't, bro.
Why?
You can't. We can't go nowhere together if you wearing them.
We going to the training camp with them joints on.
No, ain't no way.
And I'm gonna have calf high socks on too.
I love you. You know how much I love you. But if you get out the car and you wearing them joints, I'm pulling off.
I'm about to have calf high socks on too.
What?
With the dad shorts? What?
With the stripes on them?
Yes.
No, bro.
Shirt tucked in, woven belt. Listen, I'm going for the gusto.
Where is Roy when you need him? Get in your time machine and go back to the 60s where you need to be.
Oh, man. What, the Fredonia training camp days?
Yeah. That's where you need to be at. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable, man. The what would you say, calf high socks?
The calf highs.
Oh, my God.
The calf high, not Nikes, not the way these kids are wearing them. I'm going to get the stripes on them.
Steve says,
Which
waiting.
one?
You'll see. Waiting for... I don't even need to say the last name no more. You'll see. Waiting for the fans to see.
Oh, what's up, Steve Lynn?
Yeah. Did not take long at all.
Waiting for the yes.
Yes. Waiting for the fans to see what this team and philosophy really is like waiting for America to see Biden debate. True dementia can only be hoped away for so long.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That debate was bad.
I didn't watch it.
That debate was bad.
I mean,
I didn't see the whole thing.
I can tell you, I won't say because I know my mom's watching, but I will say that when your opposition looks at you in concern, when you mumbling, we in trouble with that.
Yo, Laura's on a roll. She said Roy's in the $9.99 bin right now.
Face down in there. He at the bottom of it. He been in and out.
Oh, my God.
Speaking of which, that's me in kindergarten. My costume, my mom made that for me. Look how big I am.
Bruh,
Kindergarten.
Why does everybody come up to your shoulders in kindergarten? Like, it don't even look like that costume is made for children.
It's my mom made it, man. To spec. To spec.
Yeah, you needed something custom at that point.
Yeah. I didn't have to, I couldn't even sit on the floor in kindergarten. I had a chair. You know, everybody says, what do you call it, crisscross applesauce now?
You couldn't do crisscross applesauce?
I couldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. My legs were too. I had to get in the chair.
Yo.
Yeah, I was like a student teacher.
Wow, you kind of look like Lamar Jackson right there.
There you go. Lamar,
He
yeah,
does.
there you go.
I wish people could see this picture.
I'm gonna post. You know what? I'll post it on. Where will I put it? I'll put it on. I'll put it on our Instagram page. So follow if you want to laugh at me.
You could put it in the YouTube announcements.
I could.
That's what
I'm gonna do that.
Arthur Moats does.
I'm gonna do
He
that.
posts a lot of stuff there.
Keep in mind this is 89. So if you guys want to laugh at me, just notice the guy next to me has a what is it, a Bugs Bunny plastic face on.
That thing looks scary too, man.
We all had them joints, the plastic faces.
Yeah.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
With the little smock. Can't
Right.
beat it.
Yeah, you couldn't tell nobody nothing. That real thin plastic smock that you was wearing.
And that told
around,
everybody who you were.
Flutter everywhere, all around the place.
We all
with
Care
no
Bears with different faces, but the smock tells you that I'm Angry Bear or whatever. Yeah.
Angry Bear. You didn't watch that show, did you?
Oh yeah.
The Care Bears. What's your power? I'm Angry Bear. What? Why?
Dude, I have a $30 Grumpy Bear at the house.
A $30?
$30. I bought it in college for myself.
Wow.
I was 19 years old, 18 years old. It's about this big.
That
a
is-
blue joint.
That is passion, sir.
Man, it stayed in my dorm too. I had that joint for everybody to see. I sat right on top there.
With a big old sign that says "Don't touch."
Don't pet. I might bite you.
Kevin says Josh Allen should make a power play move and demand from coaches what coaches demand from players in order to really win. We ain't got enough time to go into all that. What you got to say?
I'll save it, but yes, I agree 100%. Josh Allen definitely needs to open his mouth and demand because he's here to stay. He's the only person. He's the only person in this. Be quiet. He's the only person in this organization that.
Yo, bro.
You can't co-sign your own AO. Once the AO has been played, you can't say nothing else. The AO has been.
What was that?
He caught you. You did say he needs to open his
Open
mouth.
your mouth and speak what you. I said it. Whole chest, shirt off. Whole chest.
Yo, bro.
#1 dad chain and everything in my chest hairs. I'm making it real uncomfortable for this dude right now. I don't care. You've been quiet all day.
Yeah.
But no, but the case of the matter is, yeah, Josh Allen definitely needs to speak up. He has the floor. This is his team. And you know, everybody said this is Sean's team. No, this is Josh Allen's team. We go as Josh Allen goes. If Josh Allen doesn't see something he like, I don't want to run these play actions. Okay. You see how easy that is? 13% play actions last year because Josh Allen don't want to do it.
So you're saying he needs a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in him?
At this point in time, he could do it.
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
Maybe not a cocky, but he has a way about him that he can make it work. That's the thing about it. He has a way about him that he can make it work. Say what you want with your whole chest, and not the was it Haley Steinfeld written. I don't want that. I want Josh Allen after a couple brewskis.
Poor Brittany.
Yeah, I feel bad for her. Not really. Kick straight out the house. But anyway, you know, after a couple brewskis, just write a letter, send a text, drunk text. You can't bring it back. And let's see what happens because they can't get rid of you if they wanted to. Your cap hit is $111 million. You would cripple the whole team.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They can't do nothing. I mean, coaches could get fired off of him saying whatever he's got to say.
Most
at this
teams
point.
that would occur at this point when you
Yeah.
hand that kind of money over. Please, the coaches know what time it is. At that point in time, it's not their show anymore, except in Buffalo when McDermott's culture and
Just really boils down to whether or not the owner is willing to listen.
yeah.
That's
Speaking of which, the last thing I had.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is, so people fact check me on this, but I saw an article that said that every NFL team now is going to have to pay $449 million because of that lawsuit for what was
For
it,
Sunday
League
Ticket?
Pass? Yes, Sunday Ticket. $449 million per team.
So I also saw on Twitter that every Sunday ticket customer should expect anywhere between $4,000 and $5,000
Yeah.
in return for that.
That is insane. That's like
I
one of
almost
those
wish
deals
I had bought it at some point now.
right. That's one of those deals where it's like, oh yeah, you get a coupon for $500 off. I just close it out. I'm like, yo, if they're giving me $500 off, that's more than I'm trying to spend on anything. $500. No.
Wait, so you used to have that?
No, I never had this. I had
okay.
was it League Pass or whatever?
League Pass is
That's where you could watch all the games, but you can't watch it live. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I have that. It's a lot cheaper. But
Okay.
yeah, the Sunday ticket, that was a scandal. I guess a couple bars found out they got ripped off, and they raised it, and
They
it's
won.
taking storm.
They won. NFL settled.
Yep.
So, last but not least, Steve says, here's a sad fact. The reason Pegula was welcomed as an owner, smart owners love when stupid and bad owners join the league because it makes their job easier.
Yep.
He's not a football guy.
Nope.
You know, his mindset was, you know, he came here to engage in a business that had some of the best return. I'll just say ROI had some of the best ORI amongst businesses that make around this much,
Right.
you know, annually, right? And that's the move for a lot of guys now. You're starting to see a lot of people move from other industries into the sports world and buy teams because entertainment to this magnitude never goes away.
Right.
It doesn't dip
Right.
in you know, down economic years or anything like that. I mean, we're in one right now. We've been in one since COVID hit, and the NFL salary cap just keeps getting higher and higher, and they just struck a new deal now with who the NFL strike a deal with?
Netflix.
They got Netflix, and then there's another one too. I think they redid something with YouTube TV maybe.
Yeah, somebody.
But anyway, they're just printing money at this point. So, yeah, man, I think, you know, Pegula buying the team was a favor to the city because he already owned the Sabres. You know what I mean? But his baby, his heart was around the Sabres. That's what he came here for, and we just begged and pleaded for him to buy, you know, the Bills. So, you know, be that what, you know, as it may right now, I think the main things that we need to root for and at this point pray for is for Josh Allen to speak up, and kind of, you know, take on the authority that he should have as the face of the franchise and as the franchise quarterback, and make some demands, man. You know, get some things put into place that are going to help him achieve his goal, you know, and if he doesn't do that, at some point we got to start pointing the finger at him for not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's been 6 years. At this point, you know, everybody recognizes it's his team. Everybody has said now it's his team, it's his team, it's his team. The only person I haven't heard say that is McDermott. You know what I mean? There's something to be said for that. You know, so it is what it is. Bully says, don't forget Bon Jovi and Trumper were the other bidders. I'm happy with Pegula. Yeah, but we didn't have to sell to them either. I mean, it's not like if we didn't give it to Pegula, we would have had to have given it to Bon Jovi. We could have just kept searching. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other instances where owners, you know, have bought the team and they've been great. You know, I mean, Shad Khan, for everything that he's done with the Jaguars, they're relevant now. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they haven't won a Super Bowl, but they were in the doldrums of the NFL for years and years and years before he bought the team. Now they're a global product. You know what I'm saying? So, Steve says, "Don't worry, McDermott is destined to fail. McDermott will be fired." We'll see. We'll see. Definitely. For our poll in the chat. Should Josh Allen take blame for the Bills' offense not looking as easy as the Chiefs' offense? 27% said yes. That number actually went up after our initial arguments. You know what I'm saying? Once we stated our stance, that number went up a little bit. I think I saw no go down to like 60%. But no is at 73% right now out of 33 votes. So, let's get us out of here. It is get Keyshawn fired time.
I was late last Monday too.
Let's get that down here. Okay. All right. If you hear that music, that means it's time to get out of here. Thank you for Laura. You better vote. Go ahead and vote now. For everybody that did vote, thank you very much. Thank you for everybody that tuned in and got into the chat and hung out with us. If you have not done this already, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications, so you can stay on board with all the different kinds of changes that we got coming up. I meant to put out an announcement that we weren't gonna have our first interview today, but I did, make sure to let you guys know it was either gonna happen this Monday or next Monday. So I'm pushing for next Monday. I will definitely let you guys know. Hopefully by Wednesday, I'll put out an announcement on the announcement section of our channel, whether or not that's going to happen. Okay, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be great. Otherwise, we will definitely see you on Friday.
Friday.
Okay, so we're back to Fridays now. Last couple of weeks we were on Thursdays. So other than that,
Basketball Truth and Knowledge.
Basketball Truth and Knowledge. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything. Basketball Truth and Knowledge. My oldest son, Junior's got his own podcast. He's got a team now. They doing nothing but growing. The show is getting better and better and better and better. Please check them out when you get a chance. And subscribe. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to grow. He's trying to get out there and make this thing real within the basketball world too. So check him out. Other than that,
I'm all set.
all right, that's it. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
And this is Key.
We are out. Y'all have a great night.
See ya.